Spiritual Vacancy. We are a podcast to help fill your spiritual void. My name is Brooke Ann. I'm a psychic medium and a Reiki practitioner, and I am happy to introduce you to my new co-host. And you are?
Hi, I'm Kimberly. I'm a psychic medium also and Reiki master teacher. I also read cards. I'm an intuitive healer and I also can read auras.
I'm so glad that you are here, and I'm glad that we are connecting and doing this together because we're a lot alike in the spiritual world and how we kind of connect with spirits. Our journey is a little different, though, so with how we got to where we're at. So I want to kind of talk about like your mediumship and how you got there. And I know we interviewed you previously, but like dive a little deeper, like with the journey into your mediumship, and you're an evidential medium as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So where did you start?
Um, well, my whole
Such
life,
a
4 years old.
open question.
Uh, I've always known that I was connecting with something. I could see people that no one else could see. So I knew I had something, but I would just ignore it for most of my life until I got older. And then I really started my journey with Reiki. And Reiki really opened up that energetic world and really made me understand energy. My, of course, mediumship magnified a million times after receiving my attunements. And then I realized that mediumship is also part of the healing journey. With Reiki, I saw that even hearing from their loved ones in spirit is healing. So they kind of, interconnected.
Mhm. So you think like the Reiki kind of sped it up, or were you already feeling like connected to spirit, but then decided to add Reiki in before?
I always had it. So I always could see spirit and auras.
Right.
But what happened was, I think, just when I was learning Reiki 1, we learned the pendulum. And it kind of just made me realize everything. And then it was like this door opened. And it just I don't know, it just made it a million times more. So the energy was flowing more. I felt that I didn't have that block, like I had maybe blocked it before because I was afraid of it or didn't understand it. So then all of a sudden it was like I wasn't afraid anymore. I understood it and I welcomed it. So then that's when it magnified, I think.
Which is interesting because I feel like I've talked to a lot of people that they've actually experienced the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they started getting into their Reiki 1 and 2, they started like opening up more to communicating with whether it's their guides or spirit or higher self or whoever it might be. But it's interesting how a lot of practitioners are Reiki practitioners as well as mediums.
I think that's why we're drawn to Reiki.
Probably, yeah, because
We're drawn to that healing path, but also the energy. And then, it's like we're supposed to be there. That was our path.
right.
You
Because
know?
like for me, I knew I could already like at that point, because I didn't know my whole life, right? I blocked a lot of it. And when I was already going to like a mediumship development circle is when I got into the Reiki classes because the lady taught it there at the metaphysical church. So I was
Mm-hmm.
already kind of into my mediumship when I got into Reiki, but then it's almost like that was just another part of it that made it even better. You know what I mean? That was like the energy and the healing, and then you could feel it, and then you're already kind of working with spirit. But it's like I love it. I love how it's kind of interconnected.
Mm-hmm. I know. It's a great journey,
Yeah, it
you
really
know?
is. Yeah, it is. And then when so you did the Reiki and you already knew you could connect with spirit, but then where did you go from there?
Oh, I just started I worked actually out of a chiropractor's office doing Reiki. So I did have that. And then I wanted to learn more about all of the other avenues. So I started to go to Lilydale, New York, and I started to take classes, mediumship. I was more drawn to that because that was who I was. I mean, I've had that my whole life. So I thought, well, since I already have it, I want to learn about it and understand it. So that was a lot of the classes I took. I took other classes. I learned, an herbal class. I mean, there were so many classes, but I really delved into all these classes to understand energy, to understand the spirit world, to, it made you, when you have knowledge, you're not fearful. You know,
Right.
young and you have these things, you're fearful of it because you don't understand it. You do not have the knowledge.
Right.
So I think knowledge is key.
It is. And I think going to like the training and the classes, and it's not like people are like, they look at us today, right? And they're like, oh, so you just like do that. And it's like, no, this was like a whole unfolding, a process of understanding ethics. There's so much more to it than just like, oh, I connect with people that have departed. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a journey. You have to
Uh-huh.
understand what you're working with,
Yeah, because I always tell people, I'm like, it's like you're learning a foreign language because spirit doesn't have a mouth. So you
Right.
have to learn to communicate. And it's like, think about somebody that's deaf, and then we're almost like the interpreters for them, where we're the ones giving the messages, but it's a
Mhm.
process because we haven't lived every life. So it's like trying to communicate. How exactly did they communicate? Like each person is so different, each soul is different. And that's why development classes, mentorships are so important to help people get into how they communicate with spirit
Mhm.
because everybody's a little bit different, don't you
Yeah,
think?
I think definitely. And the more you learn, the more you understand and the better you will be,
Yeah.
but too, like development circles are very important. You have that
Right.
practice with other like-minded, friends and a
Mhm.
group of individuals who have the same goal, I think that that's important too.
It is. And I can tell you, in developing and practicing, I'm sure you have some crazy stories too about like people that you've actually practiced with where you were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
I had one lady, oh my God. So I don't remember their names or anything like that, but there was one lady I was practicing with on Zoom, and the way she was connecting with spirit, she turned her chair
Uh-huh.
and was talking, but kept saying, "Come here, come closer. I can't hear you. Come here." And I'm sitting there like, I was like, "Spirit's right there." I didn't say that, but I'm like, "Spirit's right there," and she kept saying, "I just can't hear them. They're just too soft. I can't hear what they're saying." And I'm like, "Okay, that's
But
okay."
yeah, but not everybody hears. Like I feel that as a medium, you have to find your strongest sense,
Right,
work with that, because not
right.
everyone here. You might just sense and have a knowing, or you might have, another way of connecting, but it's funny. She just kept wanting them to come closer instead of maybe trying a different sense, she should have felt it or.
It was definitely different. I've never, out of all the thousands of practice readings I've had with people, I was like, "Okay, that's different way to communicate, right?"
Yeah.
Like,
And to say it out loud, because when you're professional at it, um, you don't say those things out loud. You say them in your head. Like you're talking to them through your mind.
right, right.
Because they don't need to know you're saying, spirit talk or, come closer. You know, say that in your mind.
Yeah. And like one lady, she goes, different lady, she talks about how she's got very dark energies around her and there's attachments and she does like all this dark stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's not me. I don't believe in that and I don't deal with that. And you don't believe in that either, right? That's why I love you, because you don't. I just,
No, when you're surrounded by love and light and God, you
right.
allow that in, you're surrounded by light. Dark can't come in then.
No, and I'm like, people will ask me, and this is probably the same for you too, when it's a legit question though, about, because a lot of people are fearful of what we do, or do we see spirit 24 hours a day, or, and
Right.
I don't see spirit 24 hours a day. And, a lot of people are like, do you think there's like a dark spirit around me? And I'm like, look, it's just like life. There's nobody lurking in, like, there's no dark spirit that's like some serial killer on the other side that walks by your house and is like, I think I'm gonna go mess with them today, because why not? There's got to be a connection there. There has to be like now, if your loved one was a serial killer, probably, right? But that doesn't mean they're a serial killer anymore. But the dark spirits don't just attach to random people, but if you put the fear into it, you're actually almost manifesting it because you're
Yeah.
afraid of something that's not there.
Yeah, fear will definitely bring it. But some people like they're so fearful of that that they bring that to them, you
Oh,
know.
definitely.
But some people I think like it.
Like the chaos of it or the
Like the
fear?
like that they could say I have dark energy, like
Ah,
magical or something, but it's not, it's
right.
not good to have the dark energy.
Not
But
even good to think that. No.
there are some people out there that like it.
Yeah, that's crazy. That
Hmm.
well, that's true. I mean, I don't know personally know anybody, but I'm sure I've seen some that like the dark energy. But
I've
I'm
met
thinking, have you? But like, why? What's the benefit of that besides
I,
just they just like it?
I don't know. I mean, I read for a girl and it came up in her reading and I said, you're kind of working with energy that really is dark, and she said, I know. And she goes,
Oh,
black magic. Like she was very like proud of it.
oh,
Was like, okay. And I'm like, so I just let her know that her guides and her loved ones, were wanting her to more find a different path. And, but you can't make someone's choice for them. You can just give the message and, hope the best for them,
you're right. That's
you
all,
know?
and hope that nobody tells them if you go to like an actual medium, because that pisses me off when people say like, oh, I went to a medium and they said I have a dark energy attached to me. No, you don't. That's such a fear-based reading. They're putting fear into the reading for you to be more worried about it. You forgot the whole reading because all you're doing is focusing on there's a dark spirit attached to you. And then you give them money, and then you probably have to give them more money to get rid of the dark energy or the spell or whatever it is you need to
Yeah.
do.
That's those, I'll light a candle for you if you give me $250. At people who've had it done to them. And they
What?
are, yeah.
Stop.
I had a girl call me. She's friends with my cousin. And she was like, I went to this lady and she knew things. I go, well, she goes, so was she real? And I go, well, if she knew things, she was probably psychic. But
Mhm.
then she told her that she had all this dark energy and that she needed to burn a candle. She had to send her this money and she had to burn the candle and do all this stuff. And then she told her she had to say this. I don't even remember what she had her do, but it was like she was a nervous wreck and she was asking me and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, listen, just say a prayer, light a white candle and imagine the white light around you because nothing's going to hurt you if you are saying your prayers, walking in the light. And she just was so upset. And I thought, oh my gosh. And she paid that lady the money and called the lady about it. And the lady said, well, she didn't have time yet to burn the candle, but she will. Like yeah, because she said she would show her when the candle was burned down and she would like send her a clearing or something. But yeah, it's sad
It's
because that's not what it's about, you
right.
know.
Yeah, and that's just putting fear. Like
Hmm.
your cousin's a mess because of that. That's crazy though, because it's not real.
Well,
Those
it
are,
was her friend, it was my cousin's friend. But yeah, she
yeah.
was upset, had to see because, it had her nervous wreck. And this lady was very negative, telling her to not tell her husband how much she was paying her,
Oh,
like
wow.
keeping, and
Uh,
then telling her, well, don't tell him I told you to do this. And I'm like, don't you realize that that's negativity? I said, she's wanting you to keep secrets from your husband that will hurt a marriage.
yeah,
Like
that's
you don't
fair.
do those negative things. You stay positive and you need to tell your husband. I mean, if you're spending this money, you don't just hide it. That's
Hmm.
again negative. So it was crazy. I couldn't believe that someone's out there doing it.
Yeah, it's pretty, yeah. It's sad. It's sad because people will believe it because they're desperate and they're taking advantage of people that are either grieving or lost on their path or just need some guidance. And the easiest thing to do is fear-based for a lot of
Right.
people,
And it's
and then
hmm.
it's sad. That's really, really sad. Yeah. What's like the craziest story you've had where you were with like maybe another medium or like something that you might have experienced like with somebody else, like how I was talking about, like that one person was like, come here, come closer. Like, have you had any like crazy experience with a medium that you were
Oh,
just like, what the heck?
Well, when you say crazy, what do you mean? Like, because I
Well, something
really,
memorable, something that sticks
I have
out.
a lot of memorable moments.
But are they good or bad? Like what? Like good's good too. Like I'm fine with either.
Now I'm
Just
coughing.
if I don't know if you want to share any with the listeners about like
Yeah, I mean, I've had so many. I've just had like a wide range, so it depends on what type
anything that you would like to share, just like one story with them.
Well, I can tell you my first ever reading that I paid for because I never pay for readings. Um, I won't say who or I went to
Right,
this
of course, yeah.
be a well-known medium, but my friend had gone to her and I thought, okay, I'll try, I'll go because we're always reading for everyone else. It would be nice to have someone read for me.
Right.
So I decided to go. We liked her. I had taken a class with her and everything, so I liked her. Um, so we went and I went in and she had her dog there. I mean, she was just so scattered. And I can feel that as soon as I sat down, her scattered energy. I didn't tell her I was a medium or anything. I just kind of wanted to see. And she just was all over the place. She was trying to tell me that my father was there, but he's not dead. Like he's still living. And this was a long time ago. So I was like, well, my dad's not in spirit. So how do I'm like, oh my gosh. So she could not find anybody. She kept like trying. And I'm like, because I'm pretty open. I mean, I don't think I was
Yeah.
hard to read. And she just felt so bad that she went in. She said, I'll be right back. And she came back with this necklace. And it was a gold um, triangle with a hanging, like inside the triangle, a amethyst hanging.
Hmm.
And she said, I need to give you this necklace. And I was like, oh, which was really weird because that I was there for a class like that week. And in class, the one girl had, it was a John of God. Did you hear of John of God? It was a John of God necklace. And he's an amazing healer from Brazil. And hers was in a triangle. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm looking for a triangle crystal and I would love to find one. This lady, when she handed me this, said, this is from John of God in Brazil. So it's really weird. She gave me what I put out there that I wanted, but I
Yeah.
had a really great reading. But she was like, well, I know I'm supposed to give you this. And she goes, if you don't have a chain, I'll give you the chain. So she gave me a chain. Like, and it was all gold. Like I was like, she was giving me gifts when she was supposed to be reading because I paid her for a reading. So I thought it was really odd, but I don't know if she was just scattered or what happened, why she couldn't read for me really, because I didn't get any of that type of reading. But I was grateful for the necklace. I love the necklace. So I was like, well, that's nice. But I left there just so surprised and shocked because my friend was like, well, how'd it go? I'm like, that was the weirdest experience I ever had in my life. I said, she couldn't really give me any messages. She tried telling me my dad was there, but he's not dead. So I don't know who it was. And she couldn't really tell me anything, which I thought was, odd. She thought my mom was living, and at the time she wasn't. So I was like, she's trying to tell me my mom's alive and telling me all this stuff. So it was just really weird that nothing made sense. But then I got that necklace, and my friend goes, well, you did want a triangle necklace. So I
You
did,
paid for a necklace.
but it was really weird. So that was a kind of an odd experience, I would say. I
Very. I would say that's
mean,
very weird. I
when you
think
think that would be odd,
I would be disappointed paying for a session and then leaving with a necklace and be like, I mean, I know it's what you wanted. That's great
right?
that you
I mean, I'm
manifested that
out
for her.
there. Yeah,
But it's odd that she couldn't connect, especially if she's well known. I think at that point, I've learned where if you can't connect, you just give a refund. Like most ethical mediums, if they're having
exactly.
a hard time connect, you just say, I can either reschedule because us as mediums have good and bad days too, like mental health and all that stuff, physical, all that. So it's like I've always learned that if you can't connect, you either reschedule or you refund. That's it.
Right.
You don't just keep going and hope that something hits, right?
Right.
So
And I,
that's weird.
yeah, so that was an odd one. I have to say that's probably one of the oddest experiences.
That's pretty
Mhm.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially someone being well known. You're kind of going in, not that your hopes are high, but you are kind of assuming that she'll be able to connect.
Yeah. And I mean,
Doesn't-
she's not like real famous, but she was a known enough that I thought, okay, I'll try her. So,
Right.
but it was interesting. It was definitely an experience.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can't wait to hear about all your other experiences
Yeah.
during the podcast when we talk about all of our different subjects and what it is that we're going to be talking
Mhm.
about because it's going to be talking about everything spiritual. We might even bring on our own clients to interview them this, I call it this season because it's a whole new year in 2025.
Mhm.
So, I mean, there's going to be all kinds of good topics that we bring up and talk about on this year that we didn't touch on last year. So
Right.
it's gonna be exciting.
It'll be fun.
I'm excited. I'm excited to continue the conversation for next week. And we're going to talk about a whole new subject next week. So we hope you guys listen in. But this is how kind of our journey started. So it also started with Reiki. And if you guys want us to do another episode about Reiki, please let me know. We are happy to discuss whatever all of our listeners would like. And we just thank y'all for being here. Welcome, Kimberly. And I'm so excited to get to see you every week. So we just hope y'all have a beautiful day and namaste.